I've just finished weaving this scarf and I started to do my hem stitching, and I realized that my little hem stitching trick might be helpful to some people, so I thought I'd show it to you. I've already started, I pulled the sword out a little bit, but you'll get the idea. This particular piece I'm hem stitching in groups of 6 ends of yarn, and it's slayed at 24 ends per inch in a 12 dent reed, which means I've got 2 ends in each dent. So to get 6 ends of yarn, I need 3 dents of the reed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of picking out the yarns here at the end where they kind of bunch up based on the weave, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to pick out the correct number in the correct order. I'm looking up at the reed, so I'm going to separate out 3 dents and I'm going to put those above the sword. Then I'm going to separate out 3 more dents and those go under the sword. 3 dents over, 3 dents under. And you can see I'm not using any fancy tools, just a simple sword and my fingers. Because I'm using the dent separations, it's fairly quick to get these groups separated out. And I'm just going to leave it there. I would, of course, go all the way across, but for demonstration purposes, this is enough. So what this does is when I take this sword and I bring it towards the fell line, I now have some vertical separation of these groups. And they're pre-selected groups that I know are the correct number of ends because I've already counted them. So then when I'm going to take this next group to stitch, is this top one, I can very easily put my needle under, pick that group up, go under, and then I stitch into the fabric, and that's one hem stitch. For the next one, you can see it's a little bit buried underneath, but all I have to do is separate those groups with my fingers, and I can very easily pick that group up with my needle and stitch it. And what I find is that this makes hem stitching quite a bit faster and a little more accurate. And especially with these bent tip needles, it really does make it quite quick. And it cuts down the time spent hem stitching, which means you have more time to weave. I like these needles. They're Chibi brand needles. I like the angle of the tip. That's a personal choice. I had a previous life as a knitter, so I had them kicking around, and I started using them. And I really like the angle when using them as a knitter, and I also like the angle when I use them as a weaver. I find it's nice I can kind of scoop them up, and it makes it quite fast. So hopefully this is something helpful for you, and the next time you do have some hem stitching to do, give it a try and see how it works for you.